Hi Paul and women of Philadelphia. I'm really excited. You know what I'm really excited about? The fact that Philadelphia cream cheese has just made my life a whole lot easier. I'm going to take some regular long grain white rice and transform it into a creamy risotto. And I'm not going to have to do all that stirring because I don't want to be stirring in the kitchen for half an hour. Trust me on that one. 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm going to add my rice right to that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just stir that rice with the butter because you want to coat those grains with the butter. Let it cook for about a minute, and then what will happen is actually the rice will start to give off a really nice nutty scent, and we'll add a little additional flavor to the dish, and we'll keep the grains nice and separate. Here at my large skillet, on medium-high heat, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter, and I always use unsalted butter because I like to control the amount of salt in my recipe. So I've got that going, and I'm going to add, it's a medium shallot, about 2 tablespoons of minced shallots. So we're going to go ahead and stick that in there. You can hear that nice little sizzle there. So we get those going. You're going to stir them, you're going to let them just get nice, and turn my heat down a little because you don't want them to burn or brown. So just turn that to low. I'm going to go ahead and let those get nice and soft and translucent. Okay. Alright, now I've got my mushrooms that are caramelizing it nice and brown. My rice, as you can see, the broth has come to a boil. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to put it on a smaller burner and put that on a low heat. And we're just going to let that simmer. We're going to let that simmer for about 4 minutes. And in that time, our mushrooms will continue browning. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually salt. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I've got some sea salt here. Add some salt and some pepper to your mushrooms. And make sure that as you go, you season. You want seasoning on everything. So go ahead. I think it just smell them getting nice and brown. I'll show you. They're starting to caramelize and we'll get a little bit brown. Okay, and we'll let those continue cooking. So these are going to cook, and that's going to go for 4 minutes, and then we're going to cover that up, and we'll continue with the dish. Okay, so now I've got my mushrooms, which are nice, getting nice and caramelized in the pan. They're browning nice. So, and that's just about ready. I've got my rice here, which now it's been simmering for 4 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to make sure that's on low. I'm going to put the lid on and leave it on low, and I'm going to let that simmer for 10 minutes with the lid on. You want to leave the lid on because you want the steam to go ahead and create a nice cooking environment for the rice. So it'll get really nice and tender. So we're going to let that go for 10 minutes, and then after that's done, we'll turn the heat off and let it sit for 5 minutes. So let's go back to our mushrooms. They're nice and caramelized. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of chopped tarragon, and I always add my fresh herbs at the end because they're fresh. You don't want to cook the flavors out. You want that flavor to come through. So we just add those in. You don't want to cook them too much. So we're just going to go ahead and stir it in, and then we're going to start to create our sauce. So the first thing we do is remove our mushrooms to a bowl. Oh, they smell so good. Now on the bottom of the pan, we're going to go ahead and deglaze it. I've got a cup of chicken broth, which I'm going to go ahead and stick in there. It's going to steam up. Just watch out. A little sauna action going on over there. So get that in. And you're going to use your spatula. You're going to go ahead and scrape the bottom. Just see those little bits of brown mushroom and tarragon right up off the bottom of that pan. Okay. And then I'm going to add the best ingredient of all, Philadelphia cream cheese. I've got this 4 ounces of softened cream cheese. And we're going to go ahead and put that in. Okay. And then I've got a roux whisk here, and this is great because you can really stir it in and get the corners. We're just going to go ahead and let that melt and create our sauce. Just stir that up. And go ahead and just stir that in so it's good and melted. And I'm going to turn the heat off. And when the rice is ready, we'll go ahead and we'll just reheat this a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and take all of our ingredients, combine them together, and finish the risotto. Okay, so now we're just getting ready to plate our risotto up. I've got my rice, which is fully cooked, and I've started to heat the sauce back up. I'm going to bring this back up and get it nice and warm, and then we're going to take our rice and go ahead and put that right into our skillet with the sauce. Oops. Be careful not to get rice all over myself. That would be funny. Maybe not. Okay. Put that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and take my mushrooms with the tarragon. They'll be cooked and caramelized so nice. And it's got such an earthy scent. Oh, it's so good. So I stick that right in there. And then some Parmesan, fresh grated Parmesan cheese, half a cup. Stick it in there. And I like to grate that nice and fine so it melts in there really nice. And turn the heat off actually because we don't want to cook this anymore. We just want to combine it and get it nice and warm and get that cheese to melt. Okay, so we stir that all together. And you can see it's actually coming together. It's looking like a risotto in a lot less time and a lot less effort. All right, so that's nice. Heat it through. You can stir, get that, want that Parmesan to really combine in there and completely melt. All right, and then I've got a nice dish over here. I'm going to plate it up. Get a nice serving dish. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I got to turn this away from you, but this is a big pan. A little tough to hang on to. All right, get that all in there. Try not to make it a mess. It is a lot. Okay. And then, once I get it in there, I like to garnish with extra grated Parmesan. And I love using these microplanes because they really make the cheese come out nice and fine. Let's go ahead and put that right over the top. And then of course we get a little extra chopped tarragon, which I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle that right over the top. And that's it. Creamy Crimini risotto. And I'm going to go ahead and get myself a little bit, taste a little of that. Make sure it came out just right. It looks so good, creamy. It was so good. And earthy, the mushrooms, and the tarragon, and the cream cheese, just so creamy. Really wonderful. Thanks, Philadelphia, for making my life a whole lot easier. This is Kathy Speronis from Bangor, Maine. And you gotta try this. Creamy Crimini risotto. Enjoy.